Good evening. Happy Monday and welcome in to another edition of the Opening Kick. I'm excited to be here. We got an action-packed show, but the main reason I'm excited, as always, is I've got my main man in the house with me. That is one Gerald Smoke Dixon. How are you doing on this Monday evening?
Man, I'm doing good. I didn't get stitches removed out of my elbow or no, my tricep like you did.
Feeling good? Feeling good?
So that's some tough guy stuff, bro.
I wouldn't go that far. I
would.
thought I was tough until I heard Jesse Williams talk about battling cancer and then going trying to play in the NFL a day later.
I'll tell you what, if you did not listen to that interview, I think that's some of the best work ever on the Bama Standard YouTube channel. Period. That interview was so impactful. I'm just talking about a young man's journey, toughness, physical and mental, persevering through every and any situation that was put in front of him. Man, anybody that's around Jesse Williams, you should feel honored that you've been allowed in a space of just a tough ass.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically, and a person that should inspire you to always wanting to do better. Whatever you think is good, take a dose of some of his pills that he's taken in life.
When if you think life has thrown you too much and you can't get through it, listen to his story. And that's a great point. If you're on Twitter, X, wherever you are, hit that like and subscribe because, man, we don't just bring you sports here at the Bama Standard. We bring you former Bama players and their stories. And that was one of the best ones I feel like we've had on the network. So, again, hit that like and subscribe for future content and past content. Go back and check out like I said, I feel tough getting my arm cut on while I was wide awake, and then I heard Jesse Williams' story, and I was like, nah, I'm nothing. That dude's the man. But speaking of tough, we got a tough lineup for you tonight. We're going to be talking the top quarterbacks in the Power Four. That's right. It's no longer the P5. It's the P4. We've dropped one. Then we're going to talk receivers, a little position that Smoke may know a little bit about, maybe even more than his own because he had to study it as much as his own position playing the cornerback spot. And that's what we're going to talk about, the best wide receivers in college football, names you need to know for 2025.
Hey, you know what, Petty? And honestly, it's not really – everyone's going to want to say, oh, man, who's number 1, 2, 3? No, listen. Education is a journey. We're trying to educate you on who to know, who to watch, just so when you see one of those names come across, you say, oh, got it.
My guys told me about that earlier in the summer. I knew I needed to know that name for a reason.
There you go.
And then we're going to follow it up. We noticed a trend on TikTok about top quarterbacks since 2000 that may have kind of irked me, and I need Smoke to possibly set me straight or tell me if I'm right. We're going to get to it a little later.
I'll set you straight. You ain't going to be right. I'll set you straight.
There we go. But before we get to that, let's give a little bit of love to the sponsors. Speaking of stories that are hard, things that are hard, nothing goes harder than natural stone. That's right, realrockstone.com. That is Lamstone Company's website. They are located in Aniana, Alabama. They're one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. If you're building that dream home and you've always wanted that beautiful stone, now's your time. Go to Aniana, go to Lamstone, realrockstone.com, and tell them we sent you using the promo code the Bama Standard to receive 10% off your purchase of stone today. Look, don't hesitate. Wait till after the show, of course. Hesitate just a tad bit. But as soon as the show's over, go to realrockstone.com and make that purchase today. And then follow it up, man, because once you put that stone on your house, you're going to be sweating. And when you sweat, you need a towel. And there is no better towel than a championship towel, and that's Title Towel. Go to whitwillsports.com today. Tell them the promo code STANDARD to receive 20% off. That thing, look, you can't see it through the TV, but these things are thick. And look.
Hold on now, Petty. Hold. You got two of them?
Yeah, I got backups, man. Just, one for Luke.
Oh, dang.
I'm going. I got to have my Title Towel everywhere.
That's why Steve Brown don't have one, because you took the extra. Son of a gun. I'm going to rat you out tomorrow.
Look,
y'all tune in tomorrow. I am telling on Petty, Bama Standard, 6 o'clock.
Look, I just take what shows up in my mailbox.
I don't know. I'm going to call on that.
Discounts from the Bryant Museum. These were sent to me. I just,
Fair.
We'll settle it tomorrow. We'll settle that tomorrow.
6 o'clock. Y'all tune in 6:00. We'll settle that one.
Speaking of 6:00 tomorrow, one more promo before we get into this hot show tonight, guys. An absolute legend, one that I grew up with, and one that hopefully this next generation gets to grow up with. We're going from Bobby Humphrey, the man that took handoffs back in the day to the house for Alabama, and then took them from the man John Elway in that Bronco uniform. Is going to be here tomorrow night talking to a special guest, a current Crimson Tide running back, Daniel Hill from Meridian, Mississippi. So again, hit that like and subscribe. You don't want to miss any past or future content because we're coming at you hard on the Bama Standard. But before we get going, one more thing. Me and my man Smoke like to warm it up with some things that are hot on our mind. We're not going to kill you with the NBA. We know Indiana's playing OKC. So look, if you are an NBA fan, you got a little bit of it burning in you. It could be a good series going on. What you think, Smoke?
Listen, you know I love NBA. Keep it coming.
All right, I got to eat some words. On this very show a week ago, I stumped for my Alabama baseball team, Justin Lurban. I've been talking about him all year, Coach Vaughn. They went to Hattiesburg and laid an egg and lost until you can't do that to me, guys, when I'm trying to get you a host site. Come on, we got to show up a little better than that. Look, we almost hit a walk-off in game one against Miami, left it short on a 3-run homer, and then lost it in the late innings to the host Southern, but it went out like a – but look, man, SEC's kind of falling apart. If you're a baseball fan at all –
20-second time out, Petty. I ain't going to let you ride like that. You're trying to just get off real easy. Listen, for our regulars that tune in every single week, the opening kick, the best thing smoking on a Monday, 7 Eastern, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Y'all heard Petty go off last week about how Bama got shafted, how it ain't right, it's because it's Bama and it's Rama Jamma. They don't like us because and all we said was, Petty, be careful. Because sometimes when you beg and you ask for things, you get what you need. You get what you're looking for. And like we said, most of the times you are going to get it if you work for it and if you've earned it. I don't think they earned it. If they did, they'd be pushing on.
I agree.
Right? Just like with my NBA team, the Knicks in Indiana went down to the line, and the Indiana Pacers wanted a little bit more. They played some better defense, deeper team. Their guys were locked in.
Tyrese Halliburton's a freaking
man. Hey, listen, Halliburton.
That dude.
He's a good player. Don't start doing this now, but don't. He's a good player.
He's one of those right now for the time. That kid he plays the game with no fear, and it's fun to watch. I'll say that.
You know what? Good player.
Yeah, good player.
Good player. Good player. I wouldn't go.
No,
so let me give you one now, Petty. And the Knicks they weren't deep enough to hang with those young gunners with Indiana. Great job of putting that team together. Awesome job of Coach Carlisle just getting those guys to play like real relentless defense. And whoever's open, that's who has the best shot. But if I had 4 players right now, Penny, you put them in order for me. Ant, Halliburton, okay, Jalen Brunson, SGA. Put them in order from who you want first, second, third, fourth. SGA, Halliburton, Jalen Brunson.
I want SGA first.
Okay. You got Halliburton.
Halliburton's probably second right now. I love what that kid's game. Then I'm gonna go Ant.
A big body Brunson?
Yeah, and then Brunson.
Okay. I mean, I would go totally different. I would go for currently right now. I would go SGA, Ant, Halliburton, and little body Brunson. I don't think that you can win with little body. I think at some point when it gets down to it, you're gonna have to be a big boy and go get a shot. And you can't be putting pick and roll all the time and get picked on defense. And I think when your liability on defense, and I wouldn't say it's a true liability, but whenever they can put you in that one whatever pick and roll and isolate you and body you down and back you down and shoot over top of you, yeah, no contest.
I think this NBA Finals will fall into two things can be true at once. I mean, it doesn't have the star power that we're used to, or the names, and it's probably going to struggle with ratings, and it will also probably be better basketball than people realize is going to be played. Yeah. Those guys they're good basketball players. Again, it's not the elite names.
Good coaching, bro. Like two of the better coaches, two young, like good coaching, good team basketball, two teams that play relentless defense, and their defense is on the string. They understand assignment. They're detailed. Like New York wasn't detailed in a lot of their pickups, a lot of their switches. They weren't detailed enough. Indiana sustained relentless detail and the ability to focus longer than New York did. Indiana. Shout out to them, man. And Oklahoma City.
And before we get out of here, and that kind of ties us back into the Alabama baseball and SEC in general. You're talking about detail. You're seeing a lot of these smaller teams. It seems like the SEC has gotten in this era of throw hard, hit it far, and you don't see the detail. There's defensive laps. I saw it with Alabama late game and Southern Miss. You saw it with Vanderbilt being the first #1 seed ever not to make it to a regional final. Tan asked what's going on with baseball. Well, SEC is kind of shitting all over itself against a lot of smaller schools. Texas takes it up. They just get slapped around by the UTSA Roadrunners at their home field. And again, it's the attention to detail. It seems like, man, these big boppers, Ole Miss right now is getting hammered by Murray State on their home field for a chance to go to the Super. And it's just that these teams play good defense. They seem to be more focused than the SEC teams that are coming in swinging for the fences. So, boy, in a opposite of basketball, where the SEC's power has grown and then it actually showed true in the NCAA basketball tournament, it's doing quite the opposite in baseball right now. It's kind of
I mean, you have the numbers. It's just one of those years.
Yeah,
it's just one of those years. I wouldn't be so hard on. Every now and then a dog's butt's gonna find that sunshine at some point. You know, and there's some teams that, and it's baseball. If you get hot, the bats get hot, and you're throwing it and you're playing good, like you said, detailed ball. You're hitting and running at the same time. You're doing all the necessary things, the bunch, like just playing just a disciplined, routine, fundamentally sound baseball with talent. You see over a period of time, you can overcome the big teams.
Yeah,
the so-called #1 ranked teams. If you just get hot, and again, I think that so like UTSA, who got hot? Louisville got hot yesterday on Vandy.
Hot. Yeah, well, Vandy got knocked out by Wright State before, but Louisville did get hot. And
yeah,
Little Rock beat LSU, so they forced a game. They'll be playing LSU later tonight. Little Rock, not Arkansas. Little Rock.
Man, you know how it is, Pettey. In baseball, if you got a hot stick, man.
And again, I think the power bats. I even heard an interview just recently with Nolan Ryan and Pete Rose talking about the day's game and how easy these power bats are to beat in some of these areas. And maybe we're seeing that with these small schools. But
yeah, everyone wants to hit the long ball.
Everybody wants to hit chick stick long ball.
Yeah, well, whatever they love, they like getting on base too.
You know what chicks also dig, according to Brent Musburger, Smoke? It's
quarterbacks.
They dig quarterbacks, buddy. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. You know, last year, the mantra all offseason was this was one of the weaker quarterback classes in memory. And, man, in 1 year, and it very well could have been, it wasn't strong. I mean, I still to this day, as good as Cameron Ward was the #1 pick, he probably would have been the third or fourth quarterback taken in the previous year's draft. And that may be the case of this coming. We got some gunslingers. Some of them are young, though. It might get them for a couple years, so it may be another year before we see it in the draft. But I think we got a lot of good quarterbacks starting to come up that's going to change that mantra, Smoke. So let's talk about it.
So Pettey, we're going to give you – I want you to give me your top 5 quarterbacks in the Power 4 conference. That's your 4 quarterbacks plus 1. All right, so from the ACC, who you got?
From the ACC? Oh, I'm going. Is Eric? Okay, we're doing. Oh God, I've got him number 2. It's Klubnik. He's going to have the weapons. They've been waiting on him. You saw flashes his freshman year, and people were kind of like, "Hey, man, he looks better than I'm not going to get the name, the ukulele kid." And it's kind of been there. But if you weren't paying attention to Clemson last year, man, Klubnik was hot. He got hot, and the kid. I think his weapons are only going to be better at wideout this year, which we'll talk about later. So Klubnik's my guy at ACC.
Who you got in the SEC?
Arch.
Arch. Wow.
I think
okay.
Arch,
So that's your okay, cool.
But I had a couple SEC guys that
I got it in front of me. We'll get back to it. So out of the Big Ten, for me out of the ACC, I'm with you. I match you with Cade Klubnik.
Okay.
All right.
Who you got in the SEC?
SEC, I got Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay.
I think Garrett is the best quarterback in the SEC as of today. We're not saying who can play their way into it come November or October, but if we're lining out right now, we're picking one. I'm going to take Garrett Nussmeier over every single quarterback in the SEC from the ability to play from the pocket, read the defense, manipulate the coverage, tight window throws, anticipate with touch, timing. I think when protected, he's as good as they get. All right, so we got to go now. Go ahead.
Throw on the field. Nussmeier's. I've got him in my top 5 overall.
You do. We're gonna come back to it. We're gonna get your +1.
All
right. Big Ten.
Man, this is where my hot take comes in. I think he's going to make a big jump from his freshman to sophomore year. I think he's got the coach to do it. I saw the tools last year. He got hurt. The season wore on him. But, man, I really like Dylan Raiola. I know everybody thinks he's just a clone, trying to be a clone of Mahomes. But man,
not a bad clone to be a part of. If you can replicate it.
Why not? Why not be a clone of what the best quarterback in the NFL is, right? So I'm a Raiola fan. I think the kid makes a big leap his second year at Nebraska under Rule.
Okay. So out of the Big Ten, I'm going to go with Drew Aller. I think that if he does not throw that interception on a bad play call, bad throw, and they go on and they get into national championship game and he plays well, I think he comes out. And I think Drew comes out, and I think he can get into the conversation of a first-round quarterback because that was rumbling from the NFL noise that I was hearing coming out of the NFL building. He has size. Accuracy went up. He's athletic enough. But for Drew, I have to see Drew play more of the tough guy, I don't give a crap football in terms of having the mental toughness not to make dumb throws and the understanding of the most important thing on the football field is a pigskin, which I must take care of better. And at some point I have to see him now take that step of saying the reason why Penn State is going to win a national championship or beat Ohio State is because of me. Once I see that, then he might even be my overall number 1.
And you're going to explain this to me as a dumb fan that's going to.
No, you're not dumb. Don't ever call yourself dumb. Just say you're just not as bright as me. I'm messing with you.
He couldn't. He completed games without completing passes to the wide receiver, and I question how that works in today's football. How a quarterback that's that level can't find his wideouts in a game.
Well, two things can be true, right? So Tyler Warren was his number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
The guys on the outside, they were okay, but weren't good enough. Maury those guys weren't receivers that you can say I'm going to lean on, but he did throw it to him. Just not as much. And again, when you have 2 running backs and Andy Kolecki understands how to call an offense if he doesn't have, quote unquote, the number 1 receivers, which we'll get to later on in our show, talking about number 1, the best receivers in college football. I think that he understands how to play the game the proper way. And sometimes whatever the defense dictates to you is what you take. And him not throwing to the receivers, I don't knock him for that. Mm-hmm. I just give him credit for the passes that he completes and the accuracy, timing, and touch on each one of his passes.
Okay. I mean, look, and here's the thing, Smoke. I know a lot of us scream that, well, the thing about the completions to receivers, but it's kind of like when you see these players like, I'm drawing a blank on a great example right now, but here's the deal.
I can help you out. What type of example are you talking about?
Scouts like the kid, and there's a reason. They see something they like in Drew, and there's a reason he keeps getting talked about. That. So there's something to it.
My question is, other than him not throwing the ball to quote unquote receivers, what other issues do you have with him?
I just want to see. I mean, that's it. I watched him. I've seen him live, so I have seen him in person, and the arm's a question. I don't know if he just didn't. There was nothing that screamed, "Hey, man!" When I'm watching that game, and look, like I said, I've seen Jaden live, I've seen Cam live, I've seen NFL quarterbacks live, and played on the field with them like you have, obviously. But seeing them live, and never once did I see Drew Allar and be like, "Oh man, that kid's that dude's right there is a difference maker." It just there's nothing that.
Yeah, two things can be true. Did you say the same thing about Jackson Dart?
They were playing that game against each other. And Dart looked a lot, and that's the thing. I didn't think Dart was an NFL caliber guy, but I thought he looked a lot. He had a better arm and was a much more dynamic quarterback than Allar was by far.
A dynamic, I agree, but you got to remember, Drew was a freshman.
Yeah. Again, look, Smoke, and this is where I defer to the NFL GM mind you have, and I pay attention when you hear. Look, it's. Fans can say one thing, but when NFL GMs are talking, that's another thing. So the Allar thing is very intriguing to me because there is smoke in the NFL GM rooms about that kid and his ability. And a lot of times they'll end up in the NFL and you're like, oh, well, shit, there I see it. They just needed the right coaching to be in the right system, whatever.
And again, what I don't think a lot of people give quarterbacks that play in the Big Ten inclement weather.
Absolutely.
Like you're not going to see the gaudy stats like you do when you're playing in warm temperatures
versus Pennsylvania,
right? You know what I mean? You're playing in Big Ten country, and as me as evaluator, I give him credit for being able to throw in cold, wind, rain, wet, ball slippery, and still being able to push through and tough through and not be in ideal conditions. So now we're going to the Big 12. Who you got?
Oh man, it's the kid that got everybody's attention that nobody knew about to the playoffs, and that's the Levitt kid at Arizona State.
Yeah, Sam, the man.
Yeah, man, that kid. It wasn't just Scatabo. He's got some weapons at wide receiver. Again, I don't want to give anything away. We're going to talk about it later, but maybe one of the best in the nation outside the two most popular.
Yeah.
But the kid made plays. He was. The question for Arizona State is, well, they haven't played the SEC teams. They haven't played the Big Ten teams. Man,
that's not their problem.
No, not their problem. But when they did, they beat them, and they took Texas to the damn, to overtime. They were overtime away from beating Texas. So
they took them out to the deep waters, Pettey.
I'm impressed with the Levitt kid. I like
him. Yeah. I mean, he's a transfer from Michigan State.
Yeah.
You saw last year, Coach Kenny Dillingham, same guy that coached Bo Nix. You saw him bring him along. Yes, it was a run game, but again, there were some weapons outside that when he had weapons or his number one receiver, Sam put up some good numbers.
Yeah.
Better athlete than we give him credit for. Deceptive athlete, stronger arm than you believe. And he just has a knack of understanding how to make the right play at the right time and make the right throw when necessary. And that's not easily understood, or you can't quantify that a ton because that's playing winning football. There's times that you're not going to have a 60-yard throw on a rope where you have to fit in between three defenders. Sometimes it's okay just to take the easy check down Charlie throw. It's sometimes okay to be able to look off and then bang that right behind the second level defender's ears. Throw the two ball over top of the linebacker and put it between the linebacker and the safety. Sit the receiver down so the receiver doesn't get his head knocked off because you have good placement on your football. So when you go back and you study his film, there's a lot that's in about next year, about close to draft time, we might be looking at Sam Levitt in a conversation of, is he as good as Garrett? Is he as good as Drew?
Mm-hmm.
If Arch has that wonderful year, is he in that conversation? Because What Brock Purdy and the rest of the world is shown the NFL is you can win with that quarterback. Everything has to be perfect. You can win with the win-with guy because that's what Philadelphia did this year with Jalen Hurts.
Agree. Right guy, right system. It's proven to be everything right now.
Brock Purdy just went from Mr. Irrelevant to Mr. He is relevant with that money in his bank. Back that Brinks truck up.
So we've hit all the four. You got any? Was there any names you were fighting on?
We said a wild card. So my wild card, I'm going to take out of the SEC, and it's not truly a wild card because he has the last name Arch Manning. He has everything that you're looking for in terms of the quarterbacking at a high level, with this exception of time on task. And when he did play last year, you saw a young quarterback. He made some bad throws, bad reads. The game was a little bit fast for him. But what's so impressive is his size and his athletic ability when he does get in trouble. And when you saw him at the end of the season, you saw a quarterback just growing and understanding that, yes, I have to run this play, but I know why I have to run this play. So now you have the why, you know how to execute it exactly how the play caller wants it to get done. Pettey, who's your 1+?
My 1+, man. God, there's 4 guys in the SEC, and they're all such different situations. There's one.
Okay, I'm gonna act like I can't count. Go ahead and give me all 4 then. I'm counted as one.
All right, one of them could save a guy's job at Oklahoma, and John Mateer, and I think he could be the one that may be the biggest shock.
I love John.
Another one, the one at Florida, is he healthy? And if he is healthy, he can.
Word on the street is that he is. He's still got to throw though, but he is.
Then he, at the end of the year, he could be his name arguing with Nussmeier or Arch for the best quarterback. But my sleeper, and we've talked Lenore. So
come on, give it to me. You ain't say your boy Lenore Sellers neither. Don't short sell.
But we know him. He's known, right. And I think he's getting known. And I think the Austin Simmons kid is the sleeper. He's the one that. Ooh,
I knew that was going to come out of you. At some point, you're going to take the lefty, the college graduate. That guy's graduated from college already, bro.
At 19.
Okay,
I'll admit it. I've drank the Kool-Aid. He's a 19.
Oh yeah, it's more than Kool-Aid.
He's 6'4".
This is fine cognac that you're talking about.
He's 6'4". Everything that you hear about him, the one again. And I've said it. I hate not talking Ty Simpson on this list. We're not giving him enough credit. I think he could have a good year in this system number-wise. But when we're talking NFL quarterbacks, I think Simmons about to take this world by storm.
I just want the audience and the chat world out there to know that Pettey just gave you the entire SEC quarterback.
Your boy Chris TA. We give him shit because one of the things he always does, they're like, hey, make Chris go last, because when you tell him
he'll answer the question.
He's giving 12 every time. I just TA'd you, man. My bad. It was too hard because I think the SEC is going to be really competitive with some young guys this year.
Yeah, it's too hard. That's why we're doing it. But you know what?
Okay,
listen. You can't put the beans back in the can. It's already out. I love your take on Mateer. I think Austin Simmons has a really, really good shot at emerging as one of the young guys that come through and just take the world by storm. I want to say his odds is plus 3,300 and Heisman Trophy winner. And he's right there at 12th. And he hasn't started a season. But the buzz is real on him, and when he did go in and get some mop-up duty, he looked good. We just got to see it for a whole calendar year. All right, so the quarterbacks throw to somebody. They got to throw it to receivers.
They do. Well, okay, do what I couldn't do, Smoke. Before we transition to the wide receivers, give me one out of that's going to take the SEC by storm that's not the ones,
that you mentioned.
Well, I guess it's got to be one of the ones. But which one is it? Name the one that's.
You know what? If I'm gonna give you one that just you didn't mention, I'm gonna go with Taylor Green, Arkansas.
Oh, hey, Kinappy, I believe he brought Taylor. There's a lot, and Justin is a big fan, and Hey, with Bobby
hold. Now
Petrino and that offense,
no, hold. It's too many. I can't do too many fans. I gotta come off that.
you got to back off now.
Yeah. Oh man, ooh. No, I'm messing with y'all. No, y'all got good eyes. No, I'm gonna go with Taylor. I didn't know he was that big. Roman Harper and I was talking the other day. We did the Paul Feinbaum show, and we're just talking about quarterbacks. He's 6'6".
He's tall.
230, 240-ish range. You saw him against, I mean, Nico ran out of bounds for a reason because somebody was winning that game. He outplayed Nico last year. He outplayed a lot of good players, and Sam Pittman is back in Little Rock. In Vietnam, because this quarterback's giving him a lifeline. Like, he's that good. So Taylor Green's my guy.
I like it. Ephraim, you're right. Just not enough tape on Ty. There's not. But here's the thing, and I said it early, and somebody agreed with me. Maybe it was tough as nails. Yeah, right program. Look, man, this is more of a program belief with Ty, and that's why I went back to we're picking NFL guys. Lenore, Sellers, Lagway, Arch. These guys are in. I'm not sure Ty's necessarily an NFL guy.
Maybe he might be.
Maybe. I don't know.
Listen, I'm coming to the understanding that if you can process and you can play, the NFL is going to give you a shot.
But my belief in Ty is I believe that wide receiver room is going to be a lot stronger, and I believe he is going to be able to play within the system this year, and I believe the Alabama offense is going to be reflective of that. So I do believe Ty has a good year. That's maybe it's comment. Look, I'm saying it here. It's going to work this year. The offense is going to work.
Yeah, it's something better work, because if it don't, all y'all Bama fans going to be sick.
Well, and like I said, he's got some receivers to throw to now.
You got some good ones.
Before we get into, do we want to do that list you sent me, or do we want to talk receivers and then flow into that?
Let's just talk wide out play.
Let's talk wide outs. Okay.
Right. And just out of respect for all the great wide outs out there, I hope that I'm not doing a disservice to Coach Carter, AC Carter, the receiver coach at Alabama A&M, over there with Coach Sam Shade, head coach, offensive coordinator Dennis Alexander, a.k.a. my classmates.
Can we start calling him AC Mayweather Carter?
Nah, we're going to call him Deuce. We're going to call him Deuce.
Call him Deuce, okay.
We're going to call him Deuce. Get that 1-2. Call it a day. Listen, so Pet, let's get into these wide receivers.
Well, look, unless you've been living under a rock, the NCAA football game covers come out, and Ryan Williams is all over it. He's there with Jeremiah Smith. Your boy Caleb Downs is behind him, pissing everybody off. But no, look, the known name.
Listen, why does Caleb got to catch a straight, bro? Let it be, man.
No, I just thought it was funny because Ryan's sitting there. These kids don't care, and the fans get all hot and bothered. And Ryan,
I don't care. Do you care?
And, no, I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. No, because if you're not laughing at this world of college football, you're going to go insane.
Why are you laughing?
Because it's comically nuts.
Why?
Because Smoke, I can't keep up with anybody's roster. It turns over so quick these days. It turns over quicker and I change my underwear. I can't keep up with it.
Stop cheering for teams. I mean, just cheer for good football.
Well, I do. Okay,
then you won't be laughing. You'll be happy because last time I checked, Caleb Downs won a national championship.
He won a national title. Well, that's why I find it fun. I find all that kind of stuff funny. I find all the social media shenanigans of these days kids that rile everybody up funny. I do find it funny, Smoke.
You got a good sense of humor.
Unless you were living under a rock, you saw all the social media stuff coming out from Ryan, which obviously him and Jeremiah Smith are on the cover of this game for a reason. They're the two names at the wide receiver position. Good Lord, man. They were the best two wide receivers in college football their freshman year last year. They'd have been the first two taken in the draft if they could have been eligible, and Ryan was 12, as was documented heavily. But outside of those two guys, Smoke, who are some names that our fans need to know going into this season that they might not already?
Arizona State came in last year and they got into the playoffs and gave Texas everything that they wanted in overtime. And their number one wide receiver wasn't even playing. Jordan Tyson. All right, just remember that name. There's a reason why throughout the year they were putting up numbers. I know Cam Scatterbo was running the football, but Jordan Tyson, Arizona State, fluid, speed, route runner, run after catch. Him and Sam Levitt, 1-2 combination. I don't want to hear nothing about them not playing against ACC, SEC, whatever competition. You only can play what's in front of you, and I'm evaluating the tape on ability. Bar none, flat out ball player. All right? Antonio Williams. I'm going to run 3 of them off for Clemson. And last time I checked, if y'all want to double down and get some easy money, whenever Coach Sweeney has a trio of wide receivers and a quarterback, Pettey, I know you Bama fans are pissed off, but what usually happens?
They win a lot.
National championship. So, Antonio Williams.
He's stud.
If you want to say he's a 1, 2, or 3, he's one of the better wide receivers in the United States. TJ Moore, young guy, last year was his freshman year, sophomore, out of Florida, Tampa area, can flat out get it done. Again, Coach Sweeney knows receivers, and when he has 3, I'm telling y'all, back up, put some help over the top, because they're going to go screaming. Bryant, Wesco, the other of the trio for Clemson. I don't know how in the first game LSU's going to match up against these guys.
They haven't matched up with anybody in the secondary in a couple of years. It could be a real problem.
Well, it might get ugly.
And even worse, they are historically bad in opening games.
Not LSU, Brian Kelly. Yeah. LSU. Don't put my Bengal Tigers down like that.
Well, Brian Kelly, since being at LSU, is like what, 1-4 since being there in openers. Ooh, and like you said, when you're facing a test of that could be a long night for LSU's defense.
That can get ugly quick.
Mm-hmm.
That can get ugly quick. But with that said, Evan Stewart,
kid that flashed at A&M, didn't he?
Yeah, highly recruited kid coming out of college, landed A&M at the transfer portal, ended up at Oregon. But you're talking about a guy that can take the top off the defense when healthy, can get it done. You saw last year when him and Dylan Gabriel, they had matched up, did a really good job. More of a slot than a true X, an outside guy, but he can be a Z slot guy. Here's a guy that I don't think is getting enough credit, and he went under the radar last year. But out of the 3 top receivers that everyone was talking about, like he was the one that everybody kind of just didn't say anything about. But this kid's ability is loud. Cam Coleman, Auburn, big, fast, physical. I mean, I'm never going to blame a quarterback or anything like that. But in order to get the ball, somebody got to throw it to you, or you got to have an offensive coordinator that can create easy access throws for you. And I think they missed that last year in terms of Cam Coleman. But Cam Coleman is one of my guys that I think that – go ahead.
No, a lot of hype, man. And like you said, I'm with you, Smoke. There's a lot of hype around Coleman and that Auburn wide receiving core with the addition of Singletary from Georgia Tech. And, they believe that Arnold Mike can take that step under Freeze, man. That's an interesting combination. If Coleman's got a guy that can get him the ball, that, like you said, he hits every metric you want in a wide receiver.
Yeah. Kevin Concepcion.
I love that.
At Texas A&M, transferred from NC State to Texas A&M. Marcel Reed and they're going to do some damage in the SEC. Mm-hmm. But you go back and you check Kevin's freshman year. He put up some crazy numbers as a number 1 guy, young guy. Just smooth, fluid, route runner, good hands, good run after catch ability. Like just as good as young guy that you're going to find in America in terms of flat out ability to play with the rock in his hand and play without the rock in his hand in terms of being able to get open with bursts out of the cut, deceptive, nice fluid movement at the top of the break. One of my favorite guys, I know that Ohio State had 3 guys last year, but Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate was the one that everybody kind of, who's that?
They've always
missed the 700-800 yards. Don't cover him and see what happens. Line up your best against him. Carnell Tate is the number 1 receiver at most places. He was just at a place that had 2 really good wide receivers. But I think when you can be a receiver 1, 2, or 3 and find your way and still create and get production, that moves the needle for me in terms of all receivers are divas and selfish, But irregardless if Carnell Tate wasn't getting the ball, he was doing all the necessary things to show up on film. Route running, blocking for his teammates, and yes, being a good teammate, running the dummy routes. And I mean dummy routes like running a dagger. Dagger is a clear and a dig under. He would work his tail off of getting that defender out of there so the guy that's running the deep end cut could get the ball. Nick Anderson, transfer from Oklahoma over to Louisiana. Again, we talked about quarterback play with Garrett Nussmeier. When healthy, Nick is one of the better players in America in terms of wide receiver play. Big, can get up, go get the ball, and physical is daggone heck. Like one of those big, sturdy, strong guys that if you want to get up there and you want to play press defense, you better pack a lunch, according to Coach Mike Dubose.
Well, and he's one of those kids, I'm glad you brought him up, that kind of got forgotten about in that mess of Oklahoma. And this is one thing fans always lose sight of the big picture when the L's start piling up. But you got a freshman quarterback that was at one point the top 4 wide receivers at Oklahoma were all kids that had NFL size and speed. And Nick Anderson led the charge, and he was out. Next thing you know, if he can stay healthy, every year you turn around, LSU's got a guy, you're like, holy hell, where do they keep getting these NFL guys? He's got a good chance to be. I'm really high on Anderson, man. If he stays healthy at LSU with Nussmeier.
Man, Pettey, you throwing a few here down on the list. Go ahead and touch on them out, and I'll clean them up if you need be.
Man, again, if Lagway's going to work at Florida, to be the man, you got to have a man to get it to, and Eugene Wilson could be that next man.
AKA Trey.
Yeah, he's nasty. One that, man, the world might not know about, but he became Jackson Dart's safety blanket. He was a young guy, a guy named Caden Lee. A lot of people compare him to Jordan Watkins, who you just saw go in the NFL draft and run a 4.3 with a little bit higher ceiling, a little bit better of a route runner. And if you followed his career at Ole Miss, the kid put up hella numbers. Again, this is going to lead into your conversation of wide receiver cores, and Caden Lee's leading the charge for Ole Miss this year. But I'm, kind of confused by this ranking we're going to get to. But no, watch out for Lee at Ole Miss.
Petty, I gave you a layup. Go ahead and get that layup out of Indiana. I'm going to give you just a tough, hard-nosed layup.
Elijah Sarrett.
Yeah, man.
Indiana's been low-key has always got a wide receiver that can ball a little bit. And the Sarrett, I like
a kid that they dug up out the portal, did really good at St. Francis out in PA. Worked his tail off. One of those tough, hard-nosed guys that you look up, they're going to have 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. And in Coach Cignetti's offense, it's predicated on receivers doing all of the nasty and dirty work in order for you to get the ball. And when you get a Coach Cignetti receiver, he's going to be a route runner. He's going to know how to play without the ball in his hand. That means you have to do – one of the things that pisses me off the most whenever I watch receivers, whenever they're not getting the ball, they don't even care and they're not a part of the offense. And that's where the selfishness comes into play that I don't like. If you're an option, even if you're the third option, get open. Just in case if 1 and 2 are taken up, I can work my way back to number 3. You're a big fan of Deuce Alexander, huh? I like him.
Well, I'm looking at this list. That's okay. Let's get into that. You Smoke. There was a theme kind of with this list, man. You got out of the gate. You named several guys from Clemson. You hit on a couple guys from Ohio State. They've always got 1 or 2. And we kind of touched on Auburn, low key, maybe having a really damn good receiving.
Eric Singleton is a ball player too, out of Auburn.
That's what I'm going to get to. And so you sent me a list of the top 5 wide receiver core in college football going into next year. And man, I'll be honest. Some of it's made me scratch my head. Maybe the potential's there, but I'm not sure of the list. I'm going to go over the list real quick. It's Ohio State, number 1. Auburn, number 2. I should have started at the bottom. Clemson, number 3. Ole Miss, number 4. And Bama, number 5. A team that you kind of questioned the receiving core last year, but have been very complimentary of what they've added in the portal, what you saw out of Jeremy Bernard, and what the possibility. But Smoke, I get hammered for my Ole Miss fandom on this show. I'll be the first one to call out. I'm not sure. My questions are Auburn and Ole Miss. We talked about Cam Coleman. You brought up Singletary, the Georgia Tech transfer, but you're bringing Jackson Arnold's still a question mark, and it's still not that deep of a core. having them at second, is that too high, or am I missing something? Is that Auburn core really that good?
Yes. I'm telling you, Cam Coleman is a real deal, man.
But so is Ryan Williams. Bama being number 5, I think the core of Bama that has with Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard, then you get down to the Rico Scotts and some of these other guys. I like Bama's core better than I do Ole Miss's and Auburn's.
So if I put your foot to the fire, right?
With this list,
we're going to go Bama, Auburn, right?
Yeah.
You can say in volume, Bama, yes. Yeah. Okay, what has Latair Brooks done in college football? Right? We know what he is, okay? What has Rico Scott done in college football?
Nothing.
Okay, good. Jeremy Bernard's best year was last year. Good player. Isaiah Horton, solid player, good. He has the potential to be good. Now, Cam Coleman, he falls into that radar of amazing skill set, not that great of production yet, but he's dangerous as hell, I'm telling you. He didn't have a quarterback last year, but when you cut the tape on, there's a lot of guys that's chasing him. Big, fast. He can go. Singleton. Go cut the film on when he was at Georgia Tech.
He's a big play receiver. He's a smaller guy. He's more of a. He's not going to run and he's your burner. He's your take the top off guy.
What he was asked to do, he did at an incredible level.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask him to, he can run routes. I'm not saying he's a dynamic route runner, but he's just not a one-trick pony. He can go. And like my man, they got Perry Thompson too.
Well, I think if I was doing this list, I'd have Clemson first based off.
Okay.
I'm going off what Smoke told me. Ohio State, and then Bama. I would probably have next, and then Auburn. But I'm not even sure why Ole Miss is on the list. Smoke. Somebody's going to have to convince me if this is off there. I mean, Caden Lee, I do think he has, but he's not a top end guy like Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith. I don't even think he's an Isaiah Horton type of kid. So I don't really understand Ole Miss's inclusion.
Where's Deuce Alexander? You like him or not?
He's a Wake transfer, but they got – okay, so Ole Miss is looking at – I guess they really like their transfer. They got the Harrison Wallace kid from Penn State. Who
can go.
Dejon Stribling from Okie State. Caleb Oden from Alabama.
Big body.
Traylon Ray from West Virginia.
Yeah.
And then they brought in the freshman 5-star Caleb Cunningham that everybody wanted. And we know 5-star wide receivers can usually play out of the gate. So
when was the last time that you had talent at Ole Miss in one Lane Kiffin didn't take advantage of it? You got to also understand the play caller as well too. That factors it in.
That's a lot of belief and stuff that's unknown. But I guess you're right. That maybe that's the deal. Maybe I'm in a world that I think most of the fans can agree where I'm still not where. You just talk, well, it's Kiffin and Ole Miss, so you know it's going to be good. We're not really used to saying those words together. So
I'm just saying, hey, listen, you can always come back and say, Smoke, what the hell were you talking about?
Well, who's the man? Who's the best receiver in college football? Is it Smith, Williams, maybe?
Oh, yeah, easily Jeremiah Smith.
Is it
Head and shoulders. Head and shoulders. It's not a conversation between Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith. Knock it off.
You think there's that big of a gap between the two?
Absolutely. One's a grown man and one's still a young man trying to figure out how to play.
I got you, man.
Jeremiah's a grown man. I'm telling you.
I had a buddy.
Cam Coleman, Tyson Jordan Tyson is a grown ass man.
I had a Tennessee buddy, who was at the third Saturday, and he actually traveled his dumbass up to Columbus to watch him get kicked by Ohio State. And he sent me a text. He said, dude, I'm watching this Smith dude in warm-ups. He said, some things are not like the other. And this kid is nothing like anything else on that football field. I think Smith
is not close.
I don't want to – what does Williams got to do? What can he improve on?
To do what? Catch Jeremiah?
Just to get to the next level of,
he's a next level player. He's going to play at the next level. He's a good football player. But the question you asked me is the line of demarcation ain't close.
Well, we named a lot. I'm going to put you on the spot one more time before we get to my last gripe of the night. Smoke, who is the best wide receiver we don't know of next year that's coming up that you've named? Who, or any? It can be with the list we named or one we haven't.
I'm going to say the guy that walks away at the end of the year, we're looking at it. I'm going to say Cam Coleman.
That means Jackson Arnold had a good year. It means, man, Auburn might be a problem for some folks if that comes to fruition. And look, that kid is special. It's one that, God, he pops off. He was popping off the field with that Peyton Thorne last year, and Peyton Thorne was garbage, and he was making things happen. So, and half the time the passes were going 20 yards over the kid's head. But I got to get to our last topic here, Smoke. Something that I've noticed. I love these trends on social media. Everybody thinks they're an expert. Well, it starts with an expert. An expert puts out their list, like you. An expert like Smoke Dixon puts out his top 5 quarterbacks since 2000, and then everybody thinks they need to do it. Well,
hey, hold on, 20-second timeout. Mike, hey, can you pull up Mike G?
Oh, what did Mike G?
Mike G said, "Okay, Mike, I'm gonna have a simple conversation."
Oh, there we go. Let's rock it. I agree.
Ryan Williams is far the best player in college football. First of all, Mike G, where are you from? And did you watch the back half of last year's season? If you did and you walked away and said Ryan Williams is anywhere comparable to Jeremiah Smith, you're delusional. You're lying to yourself. Sorry. If you're a Bama fan, hey, listen. I get the fandom, and I get you being biased, but we ain't going to do that tonight. Get a man his credit.
As a defensive back, Smoke, tell them why.
Listen, I'll go up there and I can put my hands on Ryan just because he's a smaller, slight guy. Is he a good player? Hell yeah. But I'd rather check Ryan than I want to go up there and battle that beast, Jeremiah, because physically, he's going to run every single route, and he's going to play the game. You remember the game where they played against Oregon? Only game they lost 2 games, and you saw what happened to that DB that was guarding that young man. Yeah, he all he did was give him just a little nudge, and yeah, they threw the offensive pass interference flag on Jeremiah, but that's just a physical play. Like he wants to get physical every single time, and to me, when you are a receiver that likes the physical matchup, there ain't too many corners that really want that type of action over and over and over again with that physical beast named Jeremiah Smith. I was at the game against Vanderbilt. Yeah, I saw Ryan just got physically manhandled. He needs to get stronger. He needs to get more defined in his route running and more detail in his route running. And over a period of time, little frail people wear down. I did not see Jeremiah Smith wear down last year as the season went on. Looked like he got stronger. And again, he had more help. Ryan was asked to do everything, put him all over the field. So, yes, he got worn down. But when you physically look at the two, one guy looks like he's ready to play in the NFL. This is his 3rd year of playing in the NFL. And the other guy still looks like a true freshman that's trying to figure out what the weight room looks like and how to throw steel on his back consistently.
And that's the thing.
And that's no knock on Ryan. I think he's going to be a phenomenal football player.
And look, that's the thing. No knock. And I think we get carried away in the highlight reel things that Ryan was able to do. His body control is second to none for an athlete. It is, the things he's able to do to keep his body in position. But like you said, there's more to it. And this is why I love when I said out of the gate, Smoke knows this position as well as he did the one he played, if not better, because he had to look at it all the time. And when these guys go to games, the first thing he called me after the Vanderbilt game was like, man, all this hype with Williams, if you're watching him off plays, there's a lot of times he's not in the play because he's getting dominated. Again, not a knock on the kid. He's a 17-year-old kid going against SEC athletes. You got to get bigger and stronger. And he was the target 17 times a game. And you said it right, Smoke. It wore on him as the season wore on. And that's where I was trying. I think if Ryan get in that weight room, add a little bit of meat, get a little bit of that stamina, get through a full season.
Yeah, I saw him the other day. I saw him during spring ball. No, his body hasn't physically changed either. One more time for my guy Mike G. Mike, I like it, baby. Here we go. I disagree, man. Ryan Williams put up almost 900 yards as a true freshman with no quarterback. Again, study the stats. Go back and look at how many yards did he have in a clump of games. Then look what he did for the rest of the season. Again, you can't say with no quarterback because that quarterback got drafted in the 3rd round, and there's conversation and there's talks that he might be the starting quarterback. Will Howard was taken in the 6th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you can't tell me one guy didn't have a quarterback and one guy's quarterback got drafted in the 3rd and the other one got drafted in the 6th. I'm not saying it. The NFL is telling you what it is.
Let's go that.
What else we got?
I'm not getting back in the Milroe debate, but I do, and this is part of the reason.
What's the debate? There's no debate.
There's no debate.
I'm not saying. I didn't say. I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm giving you straight facts. One guy was taken in the 3rd round, and there's a chance that he might start as a starting quarterback on an NFL team. Last time I checked, there's only 32 of them. So you can't say no quarterback. You can say, well, he didn't play up to par. Agree. He was inconsistent. Agree. But when you say no, that means that Pettey and I played quarterback last year for the Bama. We're not quarterbacks. So that's no quarterback. Go ahead, Pettey.
I was a playground legend. I don't know what you're talking about. Tan says, what made Smitty so good? Smoke, small body. There's a lot, like Smitty had some intangibles. I'll let you speak on it though.
Yeah, Smitty was one of those. He's built like Marvin Harrison. I mean, you run up on Marv. I mean, Marv is just wiry, strong,
made out of like steel.
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff that Smitty did with Coach Locks, one of the greater minds in terms of finding ways to get his best players the ball, and Sark moving Smitty around, making sure that you couldn't put hands on Smitty because he was off the ball motion. But his just knack for route running, faster than what you thought, his ability to contort his body in the air, crazy balance and body control.
Body control, yeah.
In terms of just holding that defender off and then just last second throw his hands up. You rarely see him drop a football. We might have saw one in the NFL, and yeah, that's it. Sick hands, right? But he was a route runner, right? He was more and further developed than Ryan Williams is a route runner early because he was taught route detail, route discipline. He wasn't the guy to say, hey, man, you're the guy. No, he had to work his way in there. So a lot of it, when you're a young player and you have to work to get something and it's not throwing to you or given to you, you understand a little bit more in that desire and that just works a little bit more for you. Pettey, I ain't gonna take too much of your time. I know you got to get to your Tua and no love conversation.
No, I was making sure we didn't have any other questions that went into that. Oh yeah, I want to get in it. I mean, we're on the chain of Bama quarterbacks getting no love. Let's keep going. Smoke, I've noticed a trend. Like I said, and we were getting into it, and we got a little sidetracked, which is okay by our man's question about.
No, it's not sidetrack. I get right back on track. I just got to put him in line.
No. I'm always good for a good Milroe sidebar. But speaking of, and probably one of the reasons I was pretty hard on him is this is what he followed, and maybe I am a homer for these guys. But I've noticed a trend. There was a beat writer, 0-3, one of them, that put out a list of the top quarterbacks since 2000 in college football. And, man, there were several similarities to the list. You saw Cam, you saw Tebow, Lamar, Baker, Joe, Vince, Johnny, Matt Leinart. Even saw Winston on a bunch of them, Pat Mahomes. But then I was seeing names like Colt McCoy and Kalen Moore and Case Keenum. But then I noticed another trend. Not one of the lists had Tua or Bryce. And then I started thinking, did I wear crimson glasses during that era, or am I crazy for thinking they're better than Kalen Moore or Colt McCoy, or even I think they should be mentioned in the, maybe not Cam Newton, but Tebow, Lamar, Baker.
Oh, they're better than Tebow. They're better quarterbacks than Tebow.
Do I? Yeah, they're
They're
better.
better quarterbacks than Tebow.
Tebow was just a leader and a winner. He wasn't a damn good quarterback. He wasn't a quarterback at all.
He knew how to hand the ball off and underhand shovel pass to Percy Harvin.
Yeah, and had the worst throwing motion ever. Yeah, it was horrible.
Good football player, one of the best football players. But you talking about quarterback, you're not on the same level.
So am I a homer? Am I a Bama homer for thinking
you are? You are a Bama and Ole Miss homer.
I am.
Right? That's just the truth. But in this conversation, I'm going to say no. You're 1,000% correct.
I'm right.
You know what? Here's the issue that I have not putting Tua on the list. I'm not going to say whose list is right because I don't know what the criteria is. I mean, he's a national championship winner, isn't he? So that checked the box. Second in Heisman, changed the way that everyone looked or viewed Alabama football in a whole. Before Tua, Loxley, and Kiffin and all those guys got there, you weren't talking about rideouts. Tua in his Heisman Trophy season, a lot of people don't know he didn't play in the second half of most games, like fourth quarters.
Very few.
Right. And if he plays in the fourth quarters, yeah, his numbers are gonna be sick. I mean, they were already nuts. Not playing in most fourth quarters out because he usually come back out in the second half, get a drive or two, maybe. But then that's when like Jalen played. And people don't want to remember that.
I very much do.
You know, and I think that hurt him. Because a lot of people looking at stats because that season Kyler Murray won it. And Kyler won it due to the fact that his numbers were better than Tua's. But Tua never played. He might have played one or two full games.
Yeah, he didn't play many second halves.
No. And if he did play in the second half, like I said, second or third, one or two series into it, then it was a done deal because most of the time, you know, Mike Loxley and the boys on offense is putting up 40, 50 points, going home, and I'm collecting my money at halftime. But Bryce Young not being in it, man, that's blasphemous behavior. That's bad. That's bad football. And again, if Heisman Trophy's not in it, then you cannot put him in it. He played in the national championship game and he won the SEC championship. I mean, I don't think it's comparison to what like all those other guys are. It's not comparable.
Well, and I think we're to a point in society and social media, we should start just banning people off of all of, if you put out a list.
No, you got to give them a chance to talk,
if you put yourself out there and you're going to put a list of football and you put someone like Colt McCoy in over Bryce or Tua, we're just going to strip your social media access.
Nah, you know what? They could have been Texas fans.
If he wouldn't have got hurt. Who
said that?
Every Texas fan every day since that damn game.
Okay. You can you see over this left shoulder?
I wish our Texas fan was still in this chat today.
No. Can you see over this left shoulder? Can you see over the left shoulder?
I see it. I see that, man.
Okay, that's called the righteous hand of Marcel. That caught in the one back of Colt McCoy's back.
One of the dumbest plays in football history.
Man, one of the greatest plays in football history.
Well, when I say dumb, that's what I mean by dumb. I mean, when your defensive lineman's doing the strip sack, pick it up, run it, spin, move, juke, jump.
Like I said, man, I went back and somebody said they was watching the Buffalo-Detroit game. I don't know from what season.
I think last year. Is it last year's?
Go back and watch 2014 Buffalo versus Detroit. When the big fella shuts the whole game down. I want to say Selly might have had 3.5, maybe 4 sacks from the shade. Not even a 3 technique, from the shade. He used to let Kyle Williams play the 3, and he would play. And it was a slide protection to Marcel. Sell was beating 2 to get to double-digit sacks. Yeah, but sorry, Colt. I mean, you just got caught by the hammer.
So what you're telling me is Colt McCoy finishes that game and that Bama defense isn't giving up. They're still shutting that ass down. I wish our Texas.
Yeah, that's not. Listen, I argue. Listen, I argue with Aaron Williams all the time. My good bet, Aaron Williams. Great defensive back from Texas. Had a wonderful career with the Buffalo Bills. Hey, Dub, we talk about it all the time. Listen, it don't matter. If Colt McCoy would have stood up, sat back down, what is it? Was it Galbert that came in?
Yeah, it was
listen, man. Mark Ingram and the boys are going to run crazy on him anyway. It's a wrap.
It
was destined.
Yeah,
what did Eli Gold say?
And once again, the roses in this grand old stadium are once again crimson. Maybe
once again, crimson towel.
Crimson towel. So as you heard it, yes, if you're doing a list out there and you leave Tua and Bryce off, I'm not a homer. You're an idiot.
Yeah, get a title towel, wipe your face off.
Get that title towel so I can wipe them tears from Whitwell Sports. Tell them promo code standard. Get 20%
that's
off.
hating, man.
The boys are awesome. That Ephraim's watching that 2024 Buffalo at Detroit. Bro bolted after he left. His brother's hanging in for that night. He's super soft. Yeah, man, I'm Texas folks. You never heard the whole Colt McCoy if he didn't get hurt whine?
Okay, so Petty, see, I'm weird, you know. I was shot up with an antivirus of like loser and haterism, right? So anytime that I see like the hate and the loser stuff coming, I just go ahead and I just deflect.
I hear you.
Yeah, I just got a blood transfusion, bro.
To all the folks out there, LaToya, my man, Kenafi, Tough as Nails, Ephraim always with us, Brian Russell. Man, we appreciate you guys with us. Roll Tide, Mike G coming in the chat tonight.
Where's Bevo at?
Where is Bevo? Where's my man Bevo when
Been looking for you
to talk some trash? I don't see him up in there at all. Was he not even
Mike G, I appreciate the comments, man. You kept it fun tonight, bro.
Yeah, keep it. Hey, Smoke always likes it. He likes bringing it. 5 Adam was here before the show. Always. Hey, 5. I don't know if you come before the show just so you can check in and get it after. Appreciate you checking in. As always,
give me a question, bro. Make it hard on me.
Yeah, bring him something. Bring some heat for Smoke. Somebody was asking Bevo's butthole. That's not the question I was looking for. Don't think he has the weapons on the outside. Ephraim was talking about LSU in this statement, I believe, Smoke. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Whoa, okay, Ephraim. Let me. Oh, I usually go to class. I'm giving you a class. So let me bring back out my book. Okay, Aaron and Nick Anderson, the Anderson boys, Barryon Brown.
Barryon Brown from Kentucky.
Just look out for those 3 names, and then after about week 6 and we a little bit in October, then we can have a conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at it, man. The Anderson brothers, Aaron, you put a number 1 on a kid at LSU. Just go ahead and know.
Aaron and Nick.
Go ahead and watch out.
Barryon Brown.
If Nick's healthy, what do you think about Arch Manning? I'll let you. I got my thoughts on him, but I'll let you.
Well, go ahead. What's your thoughts?
The name, the first thing you're going to think is what our generation saw of Peyton and of course Eli, and he's not that. We've all seen it. We know the kid can run. He's Archie with maybe even with the passing ability of the brothers. Look, the kid's special. I think he's going to be special. I think he's going to live up to it. You think he's overrated as ASF, Kenafi? Man, he may be. Maybe he is, but
why do you think he's overrated?
Because that's the thing. I think a lot of kids could lose themselves in the name, but he's been fortunate enough to be to one of the families that don't really think that much of their name. And maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to say he's overrated just because he didn't play last year or just came out of the chute and was a starter. But there's something out there as a quarterback that you get developed over a period of time. It's called just sitting your tail down and watching and learning how to play the game. And it's not like Quinn Ewers didn't get benched at some point, and the guy came in against Georgia and did fairly well. So it's if you want to say overrated just because you believe it's a hype, I get it, because you haven't seen him produce over a season. But I will always just reserve your thoughts until you see a full season in order to make such a bold prediction. Because when you say overrated, that means you've seen it, you've evaluated it, and you're saying not good enough. I'm not saying special. I'm not saying great. I just think that he's wired the right way to have a great deal of success at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and that's what. So with that name, Smoke, let's ask this. I think that's what people want to know. When you carry that name, that's the bar that people are kind of expecting.
Man, there's only one Hall of Fame Manning, bro. I keep hearing this name. What about the name? It's Peyton.
Well, I mean, his granddad is the only player to ever win MVP on a team with a losing record. I mean, he'd probably be in the Hall of Fame if he didn't play for.
I didn't see Arch. I didn't see Archie play. So I can't
Eli's
say that.
Gonna be in the Hall.
Who's gonna be in the Hall?
Triple threat school.
Who's gonna be in the Hall? You talking about Mr. Average that throw more interceptions than touchdown?
He's gonna be in the Hall.
If he's in the Hall, so is Tony Romo. So is Dak Prescott.
Tony, yes. Dak shits his pants.
So Tony Romo doesn't crap his pants, but Dak does. Got it.
Dak literally crapped his pants. In the Ole Miss game, he shit himself and had to go change
his pants. Listen.
So, I mean, I can't help his pants.
We're not talking about anyone literally pooping in their pants. We're talking about quarterback play. If Eli's in the Hall of Fame, take Trent Dilfer and put him in there too. Brad Johnson, put him in there too.
I hate when you bunk my damn Super Bowl. They weren't Super Bowl MVPs though. They the defense was the MVP of those Super Bowls.
Who? Like the Giants defense?
No, the Ravens and the Buccaneers.
So the Giants defense, they weren't MVP? Got it. Great. Cool. Yeah.
Hey. I saw Brady talking about if he could change one play, take one play back that in his career, what would it be? And he said that would be a defensive play, and it was that one. And he broke it down, and I don't think until that moment I thought about the other side of that and just how stupid it was that you had five, you had Rodney Harrison sitting around it. Any other time you throw that 100 times, it bounces off his helmet. No dude makes that stick play, but
hey man, you take that one luck play away. Is your guy still in the Hall of Fame?
Yep.
So is Brad Johnson.
What are you talking about playing in the North, man? Eli never gets credit for playing in that wind tunnel in New York his whole career too. With some.
What does that have to do with throwing to the other team?
I mean, his best receiver shot himself in the leg.
What does that have to do with him throwing the ball to the other team at a high rate? What's Eli? How many touchdowns Eli Manning throw in the NFL?
A bazillion.
Bring the number up. You had a computer in front of you.
Do say something while I pull up it.
Do his quarterback rating, and do his touchdown to interception ratio.
All right.
I'm telling you, Eli played a lot of pedestrian years.
56 touchdowns to 244. So, I mean, 122 more than then.
Say that number again.
366 to 244.
244 interceptions?
Is that a lot?
How many years did he play?
Brett Favre threw 6,000. They're putting that asshole in the Hall of Fame.
That's two different beasts. How many games did he play?
Yeah, he beat that beast in 2-degree weather in his own.
No doubt about it. But you're not taking Eli over Brett Favre. So let's not get to that. How many games did Eli play?
Hold on.
Or even seasons. Divide that number and see how many interceptions he averaged a year.
He played 236 games.
Okay. So how many interceptions did he throw per season?
2013 was rough on him. Boy, he had.
Yeah, so it was 12, so it was 11, so it was 10.
2013, but every other one he was pretty much better.
Decent.
Yeah.
He led the NFL in interception several times.
Y'all don't, man, our fans don't realize, God bless, they've just pulled back the veil to an ongoing argument me and Smoke have all the time off there about Eli Manning.
You erased them two Super Bowls from Eli. You can't erase it.
Says Eli's wide receivers, running backs, and defense got him the two. Then why'd they give Eli the MVP?
Eli's, I don't know who's running. Nah, I disagree. Defense, yes. Receivers, Akeem Nicks, Plex. What's my guy out of Dagon? Lewis Murphy was out there for a year or so. Then you had Steve Smith from USC.
Well, I tried to bring in Tua and Bryce to this argument this week because to not argue. I'm trying to get mad about Tua and Bryce because Tua is my favorite college football.
Yeah, listen, when you see lists like that, just ignore.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good to bring it to my attention, but
yeah,
whoever put that one together, God bless you. You got what you needed.
Yeah, you did.
Some attention was drawn to you, but for the wrong reason. They're questioning your intelligence right now, and maybe they have some type of formula of why.
Look, I always laugh when you bring up because you make a good. I mean, the argument is Brad Johnson and the idiot for the Ravens, and then there's the Dan Marino argument of all time. Dan Marino's always the argument. Tan, remember when Aints had the brown paper sacks over their heads in the stadium? Yes, I remember that. You were good. I do remember those times.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem of Eli Manning getting to the Hall of Fame, but if Eli gets there,
you're saying
Pandora's box is wide open.
I think
everybody getting in.
I think.
I'm just saying, where do you stop it? Eli gets in. Tony Romo's in.
With Dak crapping in his pants.
If Eli gets into the Hall of Fame, Tony gets in. Dak gets in. Like, when do you stop it?
I don't know.
Phillip Rivers in.
Phil probably deserves to be in.
Yeah, but he's in. I'm just saying he's a shoo-in now.
Yeah, he deserves.
Josh Allen can stop playing right now if Eli Manning gets in the Hall of Fame. He's in.
I mean, for a decade, he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, Phillip Rivers. He should be in.
Was Eli Manning ever in the conversation of top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL anytime in his career?
I mean, he was probably in the top, but he was never in the top 3.
Was Eli Manning ever in the conversation of saying top 5 quarterbacks during his tenure in New York?
No, because people like that. No.
So how in the world are you going to get into the Hall of Fame if you've never been in the top 5?
Because you were in the era of because we grew up in the 90s. There was 10 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in our era.
Who?
In our era?
Yeah, in the 90s. And all those guys at one point, you could say, you know what? He could be in the top 5.
But we had 10 at the time, though.
Yeah, like Troy Aikman was a shoo-in. Never been an All-Pro. Has Eli ever been an All-Pro?
Yeah.
When?
Several years.
Okay, look it up.
I mean, wait, I'm
All-Pro. I ain't say go to the Pro Bowl. All-Pro. All-Pro. Team 1, 2, and 3. What years? Because I know Troy Aikman wasn't.
Was Troy Aikman ever All-Pro?
Never.
No, he wasn't, Brian. He was never All-Pro. He did go to the Pro Bowl, but he was never All-Pro.
Yeah. Everybody goes to that now some of these days.
Well, I was answering.
Yeah.
Too upset. Hey.
He's never All-Pro, man. So how are you going to be a Hall of Famer and you've never been All-Pro?
I don't know. It's a great debate. What do y'all think, guys? So do you not think he's no Hall of Fame?
No, bro. Good player. One of the best. That don't mean you're a Hall of Famer.
You're in the Hall of Good.
Listen. If he gets in,
then open it up.
Man, Pandora's box. Everybody in there.
Well, if you're
everybody,
if you're top 20 all time, then you're a Hall of Famer.
Eli Manning's a top 20. What?
I don't think he's top 20 all time. I don't think he's
man.
When you say he's barely top 20 all time, I don't think
he wasn't top 10 in his era.
He was top 10 in his era. Come on,
okay.
Now
in the 2000s. Okay, you want to say 2000? Okay, let's get 10 quarterback that was Peyton in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay, you taking him or Peyton?
Oh, Peyton. Peyton's on the
do you count Brett Favre in the 2000s? Yeah or nay?
Screw Brett Favre.
No, I'm just asking you. Do you or you don't? No. Okay, Drew Brees.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, you taking Drew?
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. Are you taking Phillip? Yeah, I'm done. If you're thinking about Phillip,
he played out in the sun and was able to.
Hey man, I hear what you're saying. Are you taking Phillip Rivers over Eli? If you can't have that discussion, I'm going to put my hands up, let the dealer do, and just walk away.
Um,
You don't think Phillip Rivers is better than Eli? You are on
No,
Crazy
I
goggles.
don't like. I think no, I don't. I honestly don't. Phillip Rivers, he never performed in the clutch. He never could win the big game. He threw for a lot of yards. Hallelujah. Eli was mid at Ole Miss and mid at the Giants. Name some of the players that played around him at Ole Miss, and he had them playing for the SEC championship his senior year.
I disagree that Eli was mid at Ole Miss. I think he was damn good at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Eli was damn good at Ole Miss. Is Kurt Warner a 2000s quarterback? Hell yeah!
That a 90s man.
No, the guy won a Super. No, he was.
That's the early. Yeah, it was the greatest.
The guy won. He won MVPs in the 2000s. Like I'm telling you, man, you got these goggles on, bro.
We've got the crowd fired up. They all agree with you, Smoke. They all think he was average.
Yeah, we like average good. So, but I'm just saying, if he's in the Hall of Fame, I mean, Cam Newton's in the Hall of Fame too. Russell Wilson is in the Hall of Fame if Eli's in the Hall of Fame.
Russell Wilson's in.
So is Matt Ryan.
Cam Newton.
Man, you tripping.
Cam didn't do it.
That dude is Eli's never in his life been an all-pro. The guy Cam Newton was the MVP, the best player in the National Football League. And you're telling me that the guy that was just barely hovering over above average, you want to compare with him? Stop.
I think, look.
Knock it off. Are you taking Flacco or Eli?
Eli.
Mm.
I mean, I'll say this. They may be the same guy. Are we not talking about the same guy? I've lost Smoke tonight, folks. Brian, y'all are all with them. If anybody want to take
I mean, listen, Ole Miss Eli, I'm with, man. I'm with that guy.
Eli, you're with pro Eli and nay.
Yeah, I'm with that guy. Eli, I'm with him.
Got the ring, Smoke.
He got him. Yeah, listen, he got them rings. So does Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson got him a ring. A nice one.
Yeah, he does.
Shiny. Ooh. Trent got one.
Did Bobby Humphrey ever get a ring?
I think B Hump, they lost against the 49ers.
Was he there when they just get hammered? And was he there? He was after the Redskin game, right? When they lost to Doug Williams, because that was 85, maybe.
I think the only one I remember B Hump playing in is against the 49ers.
Wait, are we talking when you say Kenny Spencer or the one that can only go 20 yards from Marshall? Come on.
Jeremy, that ain't bad.
No way. Dude, he had it puss arm. Oh, let's go. Down 12-3. Rebs have stormed back to make it 12-11, trying to get to the Super Regional and play Duke.
Hey, Pettey.
Dude, are we Chad Pennington?
Hey, Pettey. I just turned my lights out on you.
You just like Chad.
I just turned my lights out on you, Pettey.
Did your light burn out? Did I blow it up?
My lights went out just because the Eli conversation has gone dark.
It's gone dark. It has. And look, I never want it to go this far. Let's talk about Joe Namath.
Listen, you can talk about more average than that. I'm not doing this tonight. Troy Aikman, Joe Namath, Terry Bradshaw, I'm good. Have all those guys. But I am officially in the dark.
Lights are out. Lights are out.
Lights out.
They're not out on Smoke.
I will see you tomorrow.
What do we got going?
6 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern, Bama Standard. Bobby Humphrey, stop it. Elway.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Easy. For me. Marvin Constant, Steve Brown, Daniel Pettey, Justin Riley, the full cast, back at it. Smoke, lights out, gone. I've shut it down tonight. I cannot do any more average Eli quarterback talk anymore.
Well, let's talk legends. We got one coming in the house tomorrow. Bobby Humphrey will be in the house tomorrow with us on the Bama Standard. Smoke, tell us about Bama legends and what they mean to you guys and how cool it is to have one. And even cooler, we're gonna gap generations. He's gonna get the mentor to a current Bama player. Daniel Hill, the big back from Meridian. We're going to have these guys talking shop. Tell them about it, Smoke.
Listen, so I got a cool Bobby Humphrey story. Yeah, I ain't gonna say it tonight. Check it out tomorrow. I got a cool one. B Hump called, and yeah, we'll talk about that one. That was a cool one. That was a cool one.
Tune in tomorrow night. Smoke's got a good story with him and Bobby Humphrey, Alabama Denver Bronco legend, and again Daniel Hill, current Alabama running back, trying to get his time in that big rotation right now. Join us tomorrow. Hit that like and subscribe if you hadn't already, so you will not miss the great content. And Smoke, as always, man, been a pleasure sharing the stage with you, my brother.
I believe in Eli.
Eli for the gold jacket. And we're out.
I believe in going dark on Eli.